Okay, now we're going to talk about your video CTR. Welcome to this video. Sorry, I want to get right into it. I'm kind of excited. I want to show you guys how to work this so you can start uploading your videos and collecting AdSense or whatever you want to do with your video ranking system. Whatever you want to do, you can do it now. And I'm kind of excited to show you guys. I like doing it. Mainly your CTR is a reflection of how often people click on your video compared to the other videos. So for example, if we take a look at this over here and you see all these little scripts of videos, right? We have 5 videos here, but check this out. Every one of these videos has a CTR percentage attached to them, right? So when they're displayed amongst each other, all 4 of these videos or 5 of them, the video that gets clicked is going to have the highest CTR, obviously, right? Because it got clicked and the other videos did not. It's the click-through rate. How often someone clicks this video compared to how often someone does not click this video. You get it? So everywhere on YouTube, your video has an appended CTR, okay? It has a CTR for the homepage, it has a CTR for the search results, it has a CTR for the suggested. Those 3 has its own CTR. So put it this way, if I click on the video highlighted in green, then that means its CTR went up. You want your video to have the highest CTR in order to get more ranking juice from YouTube, okay? So getting the high CTR is prominent, it's the goal. You must have a high CTR. And there's ways we can do it that aren't necessarily black hat, and it's just general YouTube best uses of service, right? You need to have that high CTR. Now, in order to get a high CTR, there's ways how we do it, and we know that they work because they've been working for us for years. All right, there's 4 different ranking factors for CTR. I know there's ranking factors inside ranking factors, but don't look at it that way. Just think of it like this. There's 4 different ways you can get a high CTR. The first way is through ambiguity, okay? So you see this thumbnail that's just popped up on the screen. You see how it has like a little circle and you don't know what that is? That's what ambiguity is. If you look at some of the best, highest ranking YouTube channels, you're going to see them with thumbnails with that little red circle there. Why? Because it takes your eyes just a couple of seconds to try to figure out what's inside that red circle. It's a function of ambiguity. Ambiguity, okay? It's a function of ambiguity. And when you equip your video thumbnails with ambiguity, people click on them more than not, okay? All we're trying to do is make sure our video thumbnail is getting clicked on as much or if not more than the other videos that are within our niche, okay? And that's really easy once you realize that most people don't even know how to do this. The first one, as I've shown, is ambiguity. The second one is vibrant, when your video thumbnail is vibrant, like these video thumbnails of me, which are videos that kind of actually rank pretty well. I wonder why. It could be the CTR. So now the third factor that's going to increase how well your thumbnails do, especially for males and sort of for females, is sex. Now, and they tell you marketing all the time that sex sells. It's just the fact of marketing. It also sells a lot inside thumbnails, especially when you combine it with ambiguity. So if you have a thumbnail that's both ambiguous, and we use this with arrows, we use this with red circles, so your brain's trying to figure out what the hell is going on inside that image, and you combine it with sex, and you'll see this with a lot of like the laugh compilation channels, the try not to laugh channels, the meme channels, the vibe channels, pretty much the compilation channels know this to a T. They use this in order to get millions of views because they're such a broad and general audience. They get millions of views because everyone responds to this type of psychology. Okay, so remember, sex, vibrance, and I forget the third one, ambiguity. The fourth one is the title, right? I know it has nothing to do with the thumbnail, but the title's relation to the thumbnail is the last way you want to increase your CTR, right? So if someone looks at your video, they're going to see the title along with the thumbnail. So the title has to describe the thumbnail. And I know that seems like it's going to be a hard leap or it requires a lot of creativity. It doesn't. Your title can be complete gibberish and just keywords as long as the title makes sense going along with the thumbnail. Videos whose titles that don't make sense, that don't go along with the thumbnail, those are what they call clickbait videos. Clickbait videos. Sorry, I'm so used to saying clickbait videos, okay? So you wanna get that out of your mind. Your thumbnail and your title need to be related in some way. So those are the 4 factors. However you decide to do your thumbnail, just know that it's one of the most important parts of the ranking factor, all right? The average view duration we can manipulate, and I'll show you how to do that. That's super important. But the CTR is mega important. It has everything to do with your thumbnails, right? So I'm gonna show you places where you can get your thumbnail designed. You wanna get your thumbnail designed, or you wanna design your thumbnails yourself. And on top of that, I put thumbnails below that I want you guys to study. you need to study these thumbnails. The thumbnails are super important to increasing your video CTR. All right. I even use some of the thumbnails I put out inside my videos that have done extremely well. And I want you to look at these thumbnails and say, hey, I kind of understand why they get people to click on my video other than the rest of the videos that it's displayed upon, right? Because remember, YouTube is a grand popularity contest. YouTube only wants to show their videos to their advertisers that they think are the greatest videos. And they do that by looking at these ranking factors and saying, hey, this video might be of quality. It has a high average view duration, has a high click-through rate. Remember, YouTube's sole goal is to satisfy their advertising partners. And in order they do, in a way, remember, YouTube's sole goal is to satisfy their advertising partners. And the way they do that is by showing videos that they think are of the highest quality. And the way they measure that is with the 4 ranking factors, 5 ranking factors if you count the metadata, which I do, so 5 ranking factors. So your video's click-through rate, which is how often people click on your video, which is 100% tied into your thumbnail and your title being kind of synonymous, following the ranking factors of the thumbnail, and also making sure that your title is kind of coalescent with the thumbnail. It makes sense, so it's not clickbait, right? Which is the second one is your CTR. The second one is your AVD, which is your average view duration, which is how long people stay on your video. Because if someone is staying on your video, that means that they want to watch it. They're actually watching your video, which probably means it's going to be a good video. The third one is your IUB, which is your internal user behavior acronym. And basically what that means is how people are reacting to your video, right? Whether they're like leaving comments, whether they're sharing the video, whether they're subscribing, they favorite the video. That's the IUB, the internal user behavior, right? And you're also going to want a high EUB, which is an external user behavior. And pretty much what an EUB is how you got those people to your video. Okay, that's the simplest I can say. How you get people to your video. If you bring people from an outside source, and we're going to go through that inside one of the next sections. Next, we're going to do IUB, but then we're going to do EUB. And finally, your metadata, which is just the basics of YouTube, keeping your metadata on top of its game, making sure that everything makes sense, your tags make sense, your description makes sense, and it's written in a way where you can kind of work with these crazy ranking factors, right? So I know it is a lot. I told you it was going to be a lot, but once you get it done and you understand it and you know how to make it work, you can make it work. It's really simple once you get everything all jumbled into your brain, okay? I'm gonna help you do that. And you guys move on to the next video. So far, I don't wanna overload you because I know it will. So far, we have the AVD, how long someone watches your video, and we can manipulate that when we buy views. We have your CTR, which is how often people click on your thumbnail as opposed to not clicking on your thumbnail and watching your video, right? And we can do that when we set up our thumbnail. When we create them in Photoshop. On top of that, inside this kind of, I guess, video description, inside this kind of PDF, you can download backdrops if you want to design it yourself, backdrops you can use, or there's services you can go straight to Fiverr and go get your thumbnail created, all right? You guys take care. Have fun making this video. The next one, we will get into IUB. All right, take care.